Hello, and welcome. I'm sitting here with the directors of Ice Blue Sky, Graham, Charlotte, and Francesca. I've been working with them and their team for about 10 months now, and we're doing this video because I find it very difficult to sometimes explain to people who haven't had an experience of coaching what it is like and what results they can actually achieve from business and mindset coaching. So I wanted to ask you if you could summarize, after these 10 months of working together, what has changed in yourself and in the business as a result of the work that we've been doing.
Cool, yeah. So I think answering first what's changed in me, I think quite a bit, actually. I think I came into this, I never really necessarily thought I had a closed mindset, but this has definitely jumped me onto a much more open and positive mindset, I would say. Instead of necessarily a new challenge coming on and thinking, oh my God, can I do that? Can we do that? Much more like, yes, we can do that. And this is how we can do it. And this is the way that we can move forward with that. So I think it's inspiring. I think it's definitely increased, it sounds like I wasn't motivated before. That's not true. Like the motivation, the outlook, the understanding of actually what is possible, and starting to think rather than just maybe 1 times our target, like how is it actually possible to achieve 5 times our target? And how could we do things a little bit differently? So I think that's probably how I would say my mindset has changed, and positively. And I can definitely see as an organisation how we've benefited from that approach as well as a collective. I think it's given us a vehicle for much stronger communication and shared understanding across our organisation of the different types of ways that each of us maybe respond to stuff. So does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Charlotte?
Yeah, I would completely agree. And I think from a personal point of view, I think it helps you become more aware of how you're showing up each day. On a number of different levels, and it helps you understand your blind spots, your potentially your emotional triggers, because we all have them, and it's about just being conscious and aware of how you're showing up every day in a meeting, on a call. Just having that conscious awareness is important, and it makes a big difference, because then you know that the decisions you're making and the things that you're doing are coming from that focus of that's where we want to take the business.
Yeah, and I think focus is a good point.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, it's really, really driven a lot of focus, and then naturally, the more you look at something, the more you improve it. And I think it's definitely helped with that. And I would echo your comments about the team, because the coaching has not just been us, and I would recommend anyone considering this that you don't just do it with the leadership team, that you do it with everybody, because as you say, communication has improved, collaboration is much more, we're all different in the business, and sometimes it can be difficult to understand why somebody doesn't do something in the same way that you do, and that can be frustrating. Whereas I think with all of this, we've been able to help people see not just people are different, but how they're different and why they're different. And then that leads to understanding, which always leads to better communication.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think for me, from a personal perspective, I think what happens is, sometimes you get to a certain point in your own self, in your career, where you don't necessarily take yourself to those scary places. You like to live in that world of sort of certainty. I've always been a very positive individual. Everything's possible, yeah. But sometimes you may self-doubt yourself.
Yeah.
And I think what this coaching element personally for me has shown is that actually that's just something you put in your way yourself.
Yeah.
And you might put something off because actually I don't think I'm going to make that. I think I'm going to fail at that. And I think the mindset coaching that we've worked on, I think it breaks through some of those barriers, which is really good, and it takes you to those places when you say, no, I can do this. I can learn these things, and that's incredibly empowering for you as an individual. If you go and you put yourself into those places, what does Steve Jobs say? He says, do something every day that scares you. It scares you, yeah?
Yes.
So, and I think that's what this coaching has done personally for me. It's pushed me into some of those areas that I may have just held back from just very slightly.
Yeah.
Hence why you hear me being very vocal now on all these podcasts about subjects I've immersed myself in and learned about and continue to do so. That's been incredibly exciting. For me, looking at the team and the business, of course, when we set out on this journey on the reincarnation of Ice Blue Sky and the evolution of Ice Blue Sky, we had this vision of what it could be like. And I think, if I'm honest with you, this mindset coaching with not only ourselves, and I agree with what you were saying, it can't be just with the leadership team. It has to be with everybody in the business. It's made that a reality, that achievement, that growth mindset a reality, and has helped us reach those objectives that we set. And now I see some of the quality of the work that we're doing on a monthly basis. I see the client base. I see the strength of us as an organisation and the relevancy of our organisation. And that has accelerated so much, I believe, again, with what you were saying, Charlotte, about everybody in the business understanding everything about everybody, how they work, strengths, weaknesses. And that has just created such a really great cohesive team. So they're the two sort of elements I see.
Thank you. And I think to close off, and I have just one last question, is that coaching is not remedial. A lot of people think that coaching is remedial, but when I came into Ice Blue Sky, you were already a growing company. You already had a really good culture. And I want to emphasize that what coaching has done is enhance that.
Yes.
It's helping you see your blind spots. It's helping you align your team even more, because it's not that they were not aligned before, but even more, because there's always room for improvement. My last question for you is, for anybody who's considering doing business and mindset coaching, would you say that the investment that you have made of both time, 10 months, and money has been worthwhile?
Yes, definitely, without hesitation. I think you have to think of coaching a bit like if you were an athlete. If you were an athlete, you wouldn't stop training just because you won the Olympics. You'd continue. And I think that's what it's given us, is it just helps us make sure we keep growing as people, and then having better communication, which results in better work, which results in servicing the customer better and delivering better results, which results in growth for us as a business. And yeah, I would say 100%.
Yeah, and I think I'd just add, I think it's given each of us our own personal toolkit.
Yeah.
Because we're all very different. We've all got different areas that we need to grow in or want to grow in. And I think I want to just highlight the practical element of it as well.
Yeah.
That on top of the kind of the coaching, or with the coaching, is this toolkit that I now feel has added to the toolkit I had, but has really equipped me as we are growing and to achieve our kind of growth targets that we've got.
Thank you.
And I just to close off, I think just the strength I've seen in the team, and I visibly have seen improvement in some of our younger members of the team, and have really become key assets into our business.
Yeah.
And not saying they weren't key assets, but they've learnt more. They're pushing themselves, and they're enjoying their contribution in the workplace as well. So I can really visibly see that.
Thank you so much. It's been such a privilege working with you guys.
Oh, it's been great working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.